Follow the presidential race this morning. A winner, of course, has not been declared as votes are still being counted. Joining us this morning is Dr. Chris Acuff. He's an assistant professor of political science at UTC. Of course, you've been adding insight here at Channel 3 the last few hours here yesterday and today. Thank you for making time. And as you go home last night and you start watching everything unfold, what are some of the things that maybe you noticed?
Yeah, so I don't think it was too much of a surprise that a lot of these contests were very close. We knew it was going to be a really contentious election in a lot of these states. And then when we look at the Midwest, some of these states that were still counting in a lot of places, we anticipated that a lot of these will take some time to roll in. So I know a lot of people are frustrated with the process and they want to sort of know the outcome of the election. But, you know, a lot of people are sort of prefacing this election with this is different. A lot more people are doing mail-in ballots because of COVID and other concerns. And so in a lot of instances, it may take a couple more days to play out.
And of course, we live in the age of now with the internet and social media. But this is not completely uncommon. I mean, we just go back to, I think most people remember the Ballad of the Hanging Chad in 2000, then you go back to the 90s, the 60s. It's not always something that happens at the stroke of midnight on election day. Right. Something to just kind of prepare for. And I know, talking about the counts, the recounts, provisional ballots, I mean, what do people need to be aware of right now?
So one thing to remember is that elections are basically, at least presidential elections, are never decided that night. So in most instances, states have between 2 and 3 weeks to actually certify their results. The Electoral College doesn't meet until December, so we have 5 or 6 weeks before really the official results come in. So I think, again, patience is a virtue. I know we want the now, but in this case, you know, this is typically the way it always plays out. In elections that aren't close, it's easy to call them that night, but in this instance, it's going to take a little bit of time.
And just one more thing, President Trump threatened to go to the Supreme Court to stop the vote count in his speech earlier this morning. Is that allowed?
Well, I'll give the typical social science answer. Yeah. It depends. But, you know, in most cases, a challenge would start at the state level. Yes. So if you're going to contest an election, it starts there. Some states have recount provisions. If it's within a percentage point or half a percentage point, you know, it'll start there. There'll be a recount. And if there's something procedurally that's an issue that the Supreme Court may take up and then challenge it, then that may go forward. But in legalese, the Supreme Court doesn't have, you know, original jurisdiction to decide on a state election.
Correct. So yes, you do have to follow the order of operations, state and federal, so on and so forth. Right. And again, people that are waking up just shortly here, we're out of time, but that people should be just on the forefront of their mind on this Wednesday morning, the day after the election.
Yeah, so again, you know, look to those Midwestern states over the next couple of days. Again, I think Michigan and Pennsylvania, obviously ones to watch. Yeah. A lot of those Wisconsin results have already come in. There are still a couple that may still yet to be decided, and honestly, in some cases, this may come down to the 2 states that do congressional districts electoral votes, so Nebraska and Maine. If those 2 congressional districts switch to Biden or Trump, you know, it may come down to 1 vote in a couple of these instances.
Isn't it phenomenal? We're usually talking about Florida, but now we're talking about Maine.
The electoral landscape changes almost every 4 years.
You don't win the same way twice. Chris Acuff, thank you very much. We'll be talking with you again here in just a little while.